you guys, Barev Hayastan. It is William calling from Blogs. Armenia has held Depi, Evratestil, and Parg, P to the A to the R to the G. He has won with the song Survivor. Devon!
Barev, you guys! Hey, William!
Should we watch and react?
Let's do this!
You guys, the pink wee light, is dead. The lights have gone out in the house of wee, but we persevere, we will survive. This was a fiercely contested contest between Simon, Parg, and Athena Manukin. They were your top three. Parg topped the public vote, and he did this from position 1. Starting position 1, that's not easy, so well done. Similar to Mariana Conte, actually, in Malta, who also opened the national final. All right, hitting play.
Oh yes, Mr. Vadayan!
Bung, 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 bung. All right, very bouncy. Nice smoky vocal. Serving bicep. I love the Game of Thrones metallic. Okay. Some Gen Z parachute pants. The enunciation needs work.
He got the same brief as Norway. Kyle Alessandro.
Oh, he's got the swag. Oh! Yeah, you need to be cocky. He's got the cockiness.
I like the chorus actually, it's quite big. It's a wall of sound.
I like the camera work here.
The camera work needs to be a lot better.
I can't understand him though. He seems to be having fun. The vocal in that section was a little wobbly.
Wow. It's actually very difficult to do that. To transition into laughter, into different singing styles.
But good interplay with the audience, even though no one seems to be there.
Now we've moved on to a different mood.
Oh. Is that a heart? Never forget who you are. Very Lion King. Mufasa.
This song needs to be reworked.
It's a nice image. It has that Swedish production. Okay, G.I. Joe. In the trenches. He loves to work that arm, doesn't he?
I really like this big chorus.
Hey, doing the push-ups, showing it off.
Keep that bit in. Oh yes, mountaintop. Let's go for it. Oh yeah!
Okay. I think my first point is that we do often hear songs like this at Melodifestivalen. And of course, Thomas G, Peter Boström, famed Melodifestivalen and indeed Eurovision songwriters behind Euphoria, they are behind this. This does seem to be one of their kind of Melfest by numbers songs. However, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, right? Those of us who are obsessed with national finals and watch them all the time, of course we expect something like this. But if you're a random viewer who only tunes into Eurovision on the night, you will feel a vibe here. This will stand out, you know, in a sea of, well, we don't have a ton of ballads, but the more predictable Eurovision songs, Diva Lowered from Ceiling, Wild Dancing, you know, that genre, this will pop out. So that's interesting. I also think they've done a good job on this relatively small stage, making it feel bigger. I think the camera wobbles, the strobe lights, there was a lot of strobe. And as you know, I'm not a fan of tons of strobe, it like triggers me. However, I think there was an appropriate amount of strobe lights here. Yeah, and they made that little rock. It was given Pride rock from the Lion King, honey, monumental. Remember who you are. So yeah, that's all well and good. There's a real trend this year of sort of medieval chain metal. You know, we have it in Norway with Alessandro, and then we can extend that analogy, you know, kind of mythical looks. You've got Justina in Poland giving us sort of bird of prey. It's, yes, it's all very interesting. I think Parg's voice fits this song, and I think his attitude fits this song. You have to be arrogant. You have to be sort of like, this is my kingdom, welcome. And he's doing all of that very well. And I do think he can move. He seems to be able to move the body. He seems to be able to command the stage. Is he a short king? Is our man a short king? It may be because the parachute pants are so big, it makes him look shorter, but I would try to give him a better sense of scale. Concerns. My biggest concern at the moment is the enunciation. I have the captions on, and the captions on YouTube were not picking it up either. So it's not just me. There needs to be work there. It's almost like you could sing some of this in Armenian, and that would mask the enunciation issues, because people will get the message and theme of the song once you put Survivor on the LED. You know, you can do that early. Or you can have him sing one verse in English and you sing the chorus in English. But you don't, I rather him singing in Armenian than stumble through English. So yeah, that's something definitely to work on. Armenia always gives their songs a mega revamp. Always, inevitably. And they will do that here. The bridge is interesting to me because it goes from sort of rock, sort of like a contemporary rock song, and then the theme, I keep bringing up Lion King, but it's interesting that the main message in that pivotal moment is remember who you are. Is that cheesy? Is that cringe? I think it will vary by the listener, but certainly they can work with this.
And that graphic affirms your strength, your power, your uniqueness, your talents, your hip thrust, and lots more. You know what? Bargava Dayan, honey! Listen, I fell in love with this guy when he featured in Brunette's music video. Listen, it was like a mood walk. He was wearing this white shirt that was blowing in the wind. Everything was Areves. Go check the music video out on YouTube. It has nearly 500,000 views. It's a moment. And you know what? Anybody that follows Depi Evratestil or Eurovision will know that he's a name that has been in the pipeworks for a long time. He sings with, he's also done live. Actually, didn't he do a live version of Rosalind's Stopping 1, 2, Where Are You? I love that song, by the way. And you know what? That's what Eurovision is about. May not take flight at the Eurovision Grand Final, but lives well beyond the contest. But here's the thing. Is this actually going to take us to the Eurovision Grand Final? I'm not so sure. There is a very strong similarity with Norway. Only one will go through. The wardrobe is almost identical. The song meanings is, could read identical. There's a very Scandi pop feeling about it, certainly in its arrangement and production. And both men, are they both in the same semi-final? I don't know at this point, but you know, it needs to be visually different. A lot needs to change here. William Lee Adams loves Depi Evratestil, and he tuned into the contest this year and evaluated all the entries. I don't know if the video is out already on Wibby Blogs, but I joined in for one video, which was Athena Manukin's The Queen Nation. By the way, she performed last which gives you such a lead up, and Parg performed first. So people held on to their votes because he ended up winning, which is actually not easy to win from position number one. Yeah, I have concerns. People say that he's a newcomer to the music industry but he's not really. I mean, he's been performing for a very long time. He's actually performed internationally. I mean, he was performing in Volgograd, which is a Russian city, and he has audiences there. Not that they're in the contest now, but what I'm trying to say is that beyond the borders of Armenia, he's touched hearts, right? And yeah. And at the Higher International Music Festival, he supported the French artist Zaz and, big concert. We're talking like arena, huge, like audiences. And he's very much loved in Armenia, and he's got the support of Eurovision alum, the Eurovision alum community. Brunette, look good, feel good, be good, do good. And Rosalind. Survivor. I love the chorus. I love that big swelling chorus, but the verses need tidying up, and there's just too many musical styles woven into it, compromising his vocal ability. This just needs to be a little bit more sparse, I feel. It's too tightly knit, and he's kind of rushing through the lyrics, and you lose a sense of what he's trying to sing, what he's trying to say, what he's trying to articulate, what he's trying to communicate. I just wish this was a little bit more sparse. There is a strength to him being the only one on stage. I mean, if you're a survivor, it's truly a personal journey, isn't it? You don't need to be flanked with 4 dancers. But also having a number of dancers could give this added visual texture. But it doesn't need to be so literal. I don't know. I think you need to get a good artistic director for the visuals and the staging, just to take this into another territory, to give it a bit more grit, to give it a bit more depth, to give it a bit more emotion. At the moment, it's a little vacuous. Whilst I'm not qualified to critique Depi Evratestil 2025 as a selection, as I've only heard 2 entries, including this one, for me, there are moments I can connect with a little bit more with this particular entry. And, Parg is really a compelling performer. He's smoldering, he looks good, he can sing a number of different styles. And even when he's given pop, he doesn't produce plastic pop. He can still take it into a slightly more indie, left center territory. There is potential here. This is not the finished product. I wouldn't even call it a good demo. It's a platform of ideas. It's a working template. And what really needs to happen at this point is editing. A lot needs to be weeded out, and fresh ideas need to come back in. Wardrobe definitely needs to change. This is not flattering by any means, and it reads like a gimmick. He just looks like, there's just something, when you're decked in all that armor and, you look like some sort of desert Viking on a stage with lasers and strobe lights and pyro, it just reads cuckoo. I think that there are much more sophisticated ways to articulate the lyrics of this song visually. I don't know whether it's a budget issue or a talent pool issue, but Armenia sometimes, for me, they have great songs. That's the thing, great songs that really should catapult much further are being pulled back by poor visual execution. And that's my fear here. I feel like whilst this song isn't in that league yet, it could be reworked and reshaped, and certainly the visuals need a much more delicate approach.
Armenia is competing in the first half of the second semi-final. They'll be singing alongside Austria, Lithuania, Montenegro, Greece, Ireland, Australia, and Latvia. I could see this song opening Eurovision. It seems like a safe bet, something that, because you know Armenia is going to deliver visually. It's a song that can kind of pop visually, that's like eye-catching enough to get people's attention. Yeah. But thus far, we don't really have a rock song, so it's gonna fit anywhere at the moment. I think Armenia will qualify. I really do. I think that, first of all, the second semifinal is wide open. Like, these countries, it's such a mix of countries that often struggle, or at least don't always qualify. And plus, Armenia, you know, they tend to do well in the televote. You know, they're very able to get their diaspora on board, honey. So yeah, I think this is looking good for them from kind of a structural standpoint, and indeed with this song. Now, I'm going to read some comments from the WeWeBlogs website. These comments are a mix of the most voted for and the most recent. Robert says, OMG this year, it is horrendous so far. A few good, but many bad. This song is not it. Kobe says, he's very hot, but please work on your English. Jonas says, as a fellow stay-aliver, I don't hate it. It's different. Yeah, there's real commitment here, actually. Like, the last time I heard Armenian rock was probably the Dorians, and I think this is better than that. And it's the staging punches in a way. Like, they're working on a small stage, but they still manage to punch. And I would point out that Parg was one of the few acts that held it together vocally. If you watch Depi Evratestil, there were clearly sound issues, but Parg persevered, and Parg managed to sound more in tune than everyone else. Well, Simon as well. Ark says, we, the Eurovision fandom, hear 10 songs like this in national selection season, but regular viewers on Eurovision final night will hear only 1 or 2. Among ladies hanging from the ceiling, he has a chance to stand out and pick up some points, slide in the top 10 in the semis on looks and rock vibe alone. Yeah, echoing my feelings exactly. Estostan says, Gayson wrote this? Yeah, it's a Melfest reject. Not crazy bad, but not impressive either. Garnachos says, the toxic macho vibes that Parg gives off are not the values we follow Eurovision for. Oh, this is very interesting. We in the Eurovision fandom, indeed, do not follow Eurovision for toxic macho vibes. However, I feel like this fits the song. This song is all about, yeah, I can do this, I got this, I've been through worse. It fits, and you have to marry message, meaning, attitude with the song. And also, voters at Eurovision are not all hardcore Eurovision fans, so we should step back and realize this will have its fans. Oliver Finn says, I don't understand the comments. I just watched the live performance. It was the first time I heard the song, and I think that was incredible. Armenia knows how to do staging. If Parg can nail the live vocals and improve the pronunciation, I can see this doing really, really well, especially in a weak year like this. There are a lot of female singers and ethnic entries selected so far, so something a little more mainstream might end up standing out. Well done. Indeed, why do we have to fear the mainstream? And then Tayana replies to that. If Parg can nail the vocals and improve the pronunciation, high bar. Nantas says, we hear 10 songs just like this in Melodifestivalen every year. There is no way this one will stand out. I'm getting Serbuk vibes, decent song but forgettable, non-qualifier. And I do think that that's always a danger, is leaning into Serbuk vibes. Now, I loved that singer, but the staging was lackluster. The song did fall into this forgettable zone. This has more edge than that. I feel like this performance, rock itself, has more natural edge than what Serbuk was giving. Delighted, I think this song would greatly improve if it was sung in their own language. In English, it has a cringe factor with lyrics like this. Maybe Delighted is referring to the Lion King moment, because I too was like, huh? Firgistan says, it's a very good song, very anthemic, very powerful, and very empowering. It reminds me a bit of Imagine Dragons style, and it's a compliment. I'm going to listen to it a lot, I'm sure. It will stand out in my opinion and could be very successful in Eurovision. Good luck, Parg. Good luck, Armenia. You're a Psycho says, what language is he singing in? And Paul Reeson says, English. Would you believe that? Gaga says, Armenia officially joined Azerbaijan in its taste to send Melfest rejects. I feel sorry for us. What can I say? I must say, I do miss the days of sort of, well, actually, it was last year, Jacko, for instance, the strong sense of location. It's true that this song could come from anywhere, and I think by adding some Armenian language, if it fits in certain verses, might help give us some local flair. Azuro says, don't think I'll be humming it tomorrow. Well, long story short, I think this entry is workable, but they need to make changes. Parg needs to work on the pronunciation. He's got the attitude, he's got the swagger. They will have the staging. I don't know what they have planned, but I look forward to seeing how this evolves.
Well, that's what I think. What do you think? Follow Wee Wee Blogs on Pinterest.
Is Parg your winner in Armenia? Do you think this can qualify? What changes do you suggest? Let us know here on Wee Wee Blogs.
And we will see you later.
And we'll see you later.
Bye!
Bye.